almost virtual now, and real life, real people that actually smell when they walk around for a little while and cry and have emotions are now things that we kind of sparsely see. We're becoming uncomfortable with reality. So I think it creates this sense of the surreal. I absolutely do. I know that there's movements out there that want to capture that and kind of rearrange it and throw it back at you. But I think one of the things that matters to me most is not just to throw back at you as a byproduct of this kind of surreal feeling, but to compose it and to make sense of it so that it's actually a reflection. What's the term? I don't know, to have an understanding and to give it meaning, right? So that somehow you can enter into this and have an experience and be connected to something that's of value to you, as opposed to a spectacle, which you sit back and you're entertained by, and you rarely ever enter into. And I think a lot of the marketing techniques and like I said, the information age has kind of been like a steroid to this, where now it's just like all the time, just nonstop, bum, 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 bum. And you do have a nomadic existence as a result of it, because you hardly ever enter into anything and stay there for a while. These things are just flying before your very eyes, and we get very comfortable just sitting back and not using this, our imagination. I remember a quote from N.C. Wyeth that really moved me, and it was in the biography, somebody's biography in the family, and they were, of course I'm paraphrasing, but he took the kids to watch a movie when the first flickers, I guess, were coming out, and he told them all to turn around and look at the people's mouths agape, you know, with the light on them, and he said, what they're not using is this, their imagination, because the motion picture is doing all the work for them. So how do you capture that awe? How do you get somebody to use their imagination? I think representational artists are in a great place to be able to do that, because we have an object that doesn't move. We have to complete a lot of the sentences along with the artist. We have to spend time with it and sit with it. I think one of the worst ways to absorb and digest art is this kind of quick fluttering about that our modern world kind of presents us with. To be able to sit with something and to enter into it almost ritualistically, I think changes you. But I think when you enter into a work, there's only something there if the artist did the same thing with his own experience. If he entered into something, not self-aware, not exploiting it so much, but really just gave himself to experiences. To live life and not be sitting there like taking every photo of yourself while you're living life. Like, oh man, I mean, to just really let yourself be a part of, I've heard this term before, the sea of being. You know, creation, everything that exists and is real, that has an objective and a subjective existence, a body, a mind, a spirit. We're not floating minds. We're not just floating bodies. I would never walk up to a real person, or let's say my depiction of my grandmother is not just mechanical, like, and formalistic, like, explain love to me, Julio. It's a parted mouth, and it's a dilated eye, and it's a slightly tilted head. Like that, I think sometimes we can approach figures like that as painters. And what I want to see is fantastic form, the ability to use the depiction of human beings, but in a way that connects you to something that is real about that person, that you feel it. Because I think, in the long run, from the artwork that I absolutely love, like someone like Andrew Wyeth and Rembrandt, is that you feel the soul, not only in the sitter, in the subject of painting, but you also feel the soul at work in the artist. And I think what predisposes great art is a great person. So.